Ever since the dawn of video gaming, some of the most simplest premises are some of the most addictive, fun to play, easy to pick up, and can get the masses involved in gaming. Take the Arkanoid series for example. It's just a bat, a ball and loads of bricks for you to smash. Now whether you played Arkanoid, Breakout or whatever version there is out there now, Novi is one of the latest games that's coming out to take inspiration from that, but also from some of the more recent games that have done something different with Arkanoid and Breakout, such as Hold Down, for example. In Novi you play as a character at the bottom of the screen. They all look like handbags to me, don't ask me why, and what you're trying to do is to stop the advancement of bricks coming from the top of the screen down to hit the red line at the bottom. When that happens, it's game over. However, what you'll be doing is aiming your projectiles and shooting them out in a turn-based system. So you'll take a shot, then all the bricks will advance. You take a shot, the bricks will advance. And what's happening with this is that as you clear out the blocks and they've got their damage and the required hit points that they've got on each of the bricks going on, you'll be levelling up your character from a selection of 3 randomised upgrades that are being thrown out of a course of loads. So it could be that you're increasing your damage, or it could be that you're increasing or decreasing your projectile size, adding more projectiles on, or starting to take some nuance in what those projectiles do. Some of them can explode out into smaller projectiles, which can extend the life and the damage of what's going on. It could be that you're adding lasers onto your projectiles, which I found particularly powerful in this game, so that you can then have a little green disco light show as you're bouncing around, but it's also causing damage too. It could be that you want to invest in your upgrades to add more levelling up of your own characters by getting gold tiles into the game, which you can then boost because they provide XP boosts which allow you to level up. So you could suffer and sacrifice some early gameplay, or early progression, so that you can then get the XP bonus slightly later on down the route. It could be that you want to invest in explodable tiles, which can then clear out an area and then invest in upgrading those as the upgrades appear. There's lots of different routes throughout Novi to try, and what I was really pleased with was that there seemed to be lots of different ways how you could go about upgrading your character, or you could do a little bit of everything, but it still fundamentally requires you to be able to aim and fire and still do quite well. Now, with all of this, there's an element of RNG because it's just dependent on the actual upgrades that you get. And that does lend itself for some runs to being over very quickly. Some of them can go on up to and over 100 levels in length, where you've got various different bosses appearing every 25 rounds or so. And that's all well and good. I just think sometimes I was like, I've not done this run well at all. Abandon, and you can just dive back out again and then dive back in again. There is an overarching upgrade system going on as well, because as you play the game more often, you unlock upgrade tokens, which you can then put onto one of the 6 characters that you choose from the bottom of the screen. Each of the 6 characters has different starting stats. And what happens with that is that that then increases the base level of XP on offer for gold tiles, how many gold tiles will appear just in general, and you can also decrease the amount of XP required to level up. And so as you unlock these tokens through just playing the game over and over and over, you'll slowly increase the base starting stats of your characters as you go along, which is quite cool. There's a normal mode, then there's a hard and extreme mode, which you have to unlock by clearing the game. It takes a while to get through to clear it, but I found this game oddly zen-like and addictive, and also quite satisfying, especially when you've got lasers or explodable projectiles, if that makes sense. It's projectiles within projectiles. It's like a Russian doll going on. Just watching it clear out a screen when you've done some really well-timed shots that bounce around everywhere, I always just find that particularly satisfying. So I was like, yeah, I did good there, even though I literally just aimed a little bit and then pressed fire. Outside of that, there are also permutations that will change the challenge of the game in real time too. So sometimes you'll get upgrades that come along that are hued in red. And what this will do is it will give you a really healthy power up or level up. So it might be like extending the shot of your projectiles by another 0.6 seconds so that they can bounce around and cause more damage. But in doing so, it's going to increase the difficulty of the game by 120%. So then you're like, I'm veering into hard and extreme territory. So it's up to you whether you want to take that boost, but then it's going to throw an awful lot more at you as you go through. The other thing that's worthwhile noting, although you've already seen it in the gameplay, is that as you clear bosses, the game zooms out and gets more and more complicated and complex. So as that happens, the difficulty just naturally increases over time as well. I thought that was quite a nice little neat trick. So yeah, Novi Cube, surprisingly very, very good. I approve of it. If you like games like Arkanoid or Breakout, this will be for you, particularly if you loved Hold Down, which came out about 2 years ago. Very similar premise. I think it's not an either or, you can have both because the games are quite similar but do things differently. This is much more about roguelike and upgrading your projectiles as you go through the game, whereas Hold Down is much more of a straightforward brick basher, if that makes sense, and helps you decide your choices. But yeah, great game. Written review will be over on higherplayinggames.com. Novi Cube releases on the 23rd of September from Rand.exe Studios. Take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/Higher Network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.